England players, I'm afraid, are going home, and they're going home on the end of the England team's heaviest defeat in World Cup finals history. Wayne Rooney has not managed to find the net at the World Cup. He hasn't looked properly sharp. He hasn't looked properly fit, to be honest. And Fabio Capello, well, the jury will be out. Is he still fit for the England job? The man who could do no wrong coming into the tournament, I'm afraid, has got it very wrong when it really mattered. We'll still be talking about Frank Lampard's effort, of course. At 2-1 down, there was hope for England. He rattled the bar, it went over the line, well over the line. But there, the hard luck story ended. No way back for England once Germany were allowed to score 3 and 4. All too easy for them. We must congratulate Germany. They're so strong on the big stage when it really counts. And they go on in 2010. Germany 4, England 1.
Yes, England's worst ever World Cup defeat, both in terms of goals and certainly in terms of defending, as they limp out of the tournament. A tournament really where they never showed anything like what we expected in this 2010 World Cup. A solitary victory against the nation of Slovenia was all really England could muster. And overall, Alan, despite obviously being on the end of an appalling decision this afternoon, it was an abject England performance.
The debate will rage on about the Lampard goal that was disallowed. But you're right. I mean, you cannot believe how bad England were. I mean, I went to the game against Algeria and I thought they were abysmal. Today, they were 4 levels below that. I mean, you know, if you look at the back four, if you look at the midfield, if you look at the attack, if you look at the system, you look at the manager, every aspect of the England performance was rock bottom. The back four looked as though they'd never seen each other. The basics, the fundamentals just weren't there. The big hope going into the tournament was Wayne Rooney. And frankly, for the 4 games, he just hasn't performed at all. And, you know, we talked about the Germans long and hard about being average, but they made England look a very, very, very poor side.
Alan?
Well, I don't know where to start, to be honest, Gary. It's been so poor. From start to finish. We said they improved in the last game, which they did. We said they're going to have to improve again if they were going to progress.
They didn't.
They didn't get anywhere near it. I mean, from the first minute, they were hopeless. I mean, let's be honest. We can't sit here and try and defend it because you can't do that. They were hopeless from start to finish. And the big players, whether they don't like the system, whether they don't like the manager, whether they don't like anything, they haven't performed. They really haven't. And I'm at a loss as to why Gerrard has to play on the left-hand side, why he can't play in behind Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney's been so poor in this tournament, whether he's tired, whether he's carrying injury.
Do you think there's a degree of stubbornness in Capello, in the fact that everybody seemed to think this was the way England should play, except for him?
I do, I really do. We all feared for that because I thought the more everyone shouted for Gerrard in behind Rooney, which is his best position, which is Rooney's best position, then I just thought the more the manager's going to go against that. And he never once played that way. And for me, it summed it up in the last 15 minutes when we need 3 goals. He brings a guy on, Emil Heskey, who's not a goal scorer, who hasn't scored goals all his life, and we're chasing the game and we need goals, and he brings him on. I'm at a loss to see that, I really am. I can't see why.
On a defensive side of things, Lee, you expect some sort of organisation at the back. Does that come from the players, the management?
Well, ultimately, it comes from the players. You have to go out there and put a performance on. And as a back four, I think, quite frankly, that was probably the worst team performance defensively I've ever seen. And then mix into that probably the worst back four performance I've seen defensively. Then you're always going to get a hiding. And fair play to the Germans. You have to give them great credit because they look a decent side. They pass the ball a lot better than us. They had ideas in the team with Ozil in that hole that we couldn't cope with. And when they got at our back four, we completely fell apart. And quite frankly, it was awful.
Usually when the back four is that bad, the goalkeeper is culpable as well. I mean, David James might have saved one of them, but on the whole, he was England's best player. And for the goalkeeper to play quite well in a performance like that is highly unusual because England could have conceivably lost 7-8 quite easy. And the way that the Germans counter-attack with a little bit of pace and, like Lee says, good passing and good movement, it was just shambolic. It really was.
We sat here before the game and we said, man for man, we feel as if England's players are better than Germany's. I mean, if the Germans are watching us saying that, they must think we're mugs. Saying that. Seriously, yeah.
We are
On that
Because
performance.
we've never ever seen that. We've never seen the best of Gerrard. We've never seen the best of Lampard, Terry, Rooney, Ashley Cole.
I've never seen a group of defenders dragged around the pitch like they were today. There was nothing that would resemble top quality defenders. Going into positions where you're uncomfortable, you'd think, oh, hang on a minute, I don't like that. They were just going into positions, leaving space. There was no communication, and we got ripped to pieces.
I don't think Terry and Upson have played a lot together.
No.
I mean, and also the other thing is, like, you know, you take Terry away from that left-hand side where he plays regularly and put him on the right-hand side, it's a big jump. People look at that and they think, well, that's easy, but it's not. To go from left to right, you've got to be in sync with the right back, the goalkeeper, but most importantly, your fellow centre-back. And you know, they're miles apart, and then they're too close together. Subsequently, the goals go in.
We'll continue the obituary in just a minute, but let's hear from Fabio Capello, who's with Gabby.
Fabio, how big a turning point was Frank Lampard's goal? How big a turning point was the goal that Frank Lampard scored?
Was, I think, one of the most important thing the game. The draw was very important. We can play different style because they scored the second goal, the counter-attack when you go forward. This is, and I understand why the time of the technology, the fifth referee, we stay here to speak about this. Goal, no goal. I don't understand why, but the result is negative result.
What else went wrong today?
Okay, well, maybe it's we play. I think well when we play 2-1, 2-2. After we played the third goal, we was I think a little bit disappointed for the mistake that we made because they played the counter-attack after the one free kick for us.
Why have so many big players at this tournament failed to reach their potential?
No, we play well. We play well because Germany is one of the big team here. They played a good team, a good game. We made some mistakes when they played the counter-attack. The referee made a more big mistake than the other one. But this is the football. You can play the counter-attack they played twice.
Yet again, England go out in the knockout stages to one of the big teams. We fall always when we play the big teams.
Yes. Well, I don't know. I think we beat in Germany, in Berlin we beat Germany. Today we played a good game when it was 2-1, 2-2. The result was different, but after some, the little thing decide the result always. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not sure whether we would probably concur with too much of what
Probably not.
Capello says. He struggles a bit with his English. He,
To be fair,
he probably
he does,
struggles to get over what he wants to say. I think
But he knows when he said we've played well.
Yeah.
That's what that means, and that's complete nonsense.
I mean, they've been hammered.
Did we play well then today?
No, they've been absolutely hammered. They had a 10-minute spell before half-time, and then maybe a 5-minute spell, start of the second half, where Frank Lampard hit the bar. But apart from that, it was the Germans, and, you know, they're lucky it was only 4. That's the bottom line. They're lucky it was only 4.
OK. First goal. Let's go through it. We must. Closer.
Well,
Scored a lot of international goals, but probably none quite as...
You can look at every single goal we've conceded today and you're scratching your yard line to 10 yards from our goal and no one has touched it. And defensively, I mean, it's just so poor. You can't defend. It's so bad. You're lost for words. It's that bad.
And it's a decent finish, but that set the standard for the defending.
He can't believe his luck when he's got in there, not touching the ball, just running onto a free ball.
You think that was good?
It wasn't a whole lot better, was it?
This
Podolski's goal.
Well,
No, it's your basic.
He's had to move from one side to the other, from
There's no
left to
doubt
right.
about it.
And
It's never easy to move. I mean, I did it at Liverpool. I played all...
Explain why.
Well, because one, when you're receiving the ball from your fellow centre-backs, a different angle of attack, but when they're attacking, you're in a different position to what you'd normally be. So then you've got to think, look, see where the right back is. You've got to listen to the goalkeeper. But most importantly, especially if you've never played with the other centre back before, you've got to get in tandem together. And he's come across there at times. And when he started to come across for that, for the second goal, he's kept on coming. Instead of thinking to yourself, well, wait a minute, it's a different position here. I've got to check back and get in a good position. He's kept on coming and coming and coming.
The thing is, if at any one time on the game, if you're playing, say, right back, I'm in that position, you can say, right, close your eyes and tell me where you are on the pitch, and you can more or less get your position within 5 yards. But when you move over on the other side, all of a sudden you lose it. Honestly, it does make a difference.
Shouldn't. I mean, normally we see the back four should play reasonably close together. Weren't England unbelievably stretched?
You would have seen.
That's what that's what I said earlier. I've never seen them so far. The positions, you should always try and keep the same distance in between your back four. How can that suddenly happen
in the last 16 game against Germany when you think, actually, well, they're quite good going through the middle, so let's give them...
There's half a yard short there, though, Gary, with the two centre-halves. Yeah. There's half a yard short, and as we said the further you go in the competition, the more highlighted that will be, and the positioning sense today, I mean, all four of them were so bad at
the other thing is, it's called panic. Yeah. Right, you get yourself and you find yourself in a bad position, and before you know it, instead of coming instinctively, you're starting to look about you, and then uncertainty creeps in, and as I say, Lee,
you get away with it against Slovenia. You get away with it because things that they're not very good. Play a decent side. That's when you start getting stretched.
Which is what we feared before the game. There was a glimmer of hope at. All of a sudden we got a goal. We were starting to think, crikey, this could be anything. And then England get a goal. And all of a sudden...
See that is just beyond belief. I mean, the thing is, you're talking about goal line technology. You don't need it for that. I mean, that's so clear.
Bear in mind, this is 58 seconds or something after we've just scored, so I can understand what Capello's saying. Yeah, the momentum would have carried us on.
Not only look where the linesman is, but look where the referee is as well. He's 5 yards behind Lampard. Now, Frank Lampard can see it's over the line.
Really? Wayne Rooney is about right as well. He's not even... You know, we talk about the fish thing, whether it's too big, but that's about right, Wayne. This is FIFA's stance on it. They decided in March at a board meeting that they wouldn't change on technology. FIFA President Sepp Blatter said of the decision, I've got it written down here, the application of modern technologies can be very costly and therefore not applicable on a global level. No matter which technology is applied, at the end of the day, the decision will have to be taken by a human being. Bit easier when you've got a camera, I would have thought. This being the case, why remove the responsibility from the referee? Fans love to debate any given incident in a game.
Another board meeting, and it's tomorrow.
Yeah, they ought to. Let's pop back to Bloemfontein. I'm joined now by Harry Redknapp. Harry, we thought it was a pretty woeful display, all in all, by England. What were your thoughts?
It was a massive disappointment, Gary. Obviously, you know, we for 35 minutes we got completely outplayed. It could have been 3 or 4 down. In all honesty, they really opened us up at will. We couldn't make contact with their key players. Ozil kept popping up in that little space in between midfield and our back players, and we couldn't get to grips with him. Schweinsteiger was running the game. Muller was always a threat. 2-0 down, we get a goal back, and then obviously we had the big controversy with Frank's goal. It was a perfect goal. Terrible decision, obviously, from the linesman. But, you know, I still felt at half-time, 2-1, momentum with us, goal back. We could come out second half and we could go on and certainly not get beat here, you know. But unfortunately, Frank hit the bar, but then over the whole game, Gary, they were much, much better than us. They played a different game than we did. They played modern football. They played between the lines. They popped little balls off. They always had options. They passed it around us, and we were way off the pace as far as they were. They were a much, much better team. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, we were concerned before the game. Lee, in particular, raised the Ozil issue, and he found lots of space in there. Is that not something that a manager should look at before the game and plan for?
For sure. When you're going to play two men in there and they've got him playing in that hole, you've got a problem. Your 2 midfield players can't go and make contact with their 2 midfield players. You're scared to go and press them high up the park because the little guy finds a hole in off of your 2 central defenders, and that's the problem. So we end up dropping one off, trying to get around him as best we can. Now they've got a spare midfield player. Their system was better than us. It worked. They passed the ball. and it's a difficult system to play against. We've seen Chelsea play that way over the few years. It's a difficult system because you get outnumbered in the middle of the park, and they did it so well today, and there were some world-class performances, I felt, from their players. They were different class.
I know it's easy in hindsight, Harry, but should England play a system more flexible like that, and Chelsea play like that, Manchester United play like that? That's what they're accustomed to.
Look, I felt today, Gary, once we started, I mean, you lads talked about the other day where we had Rooney up and we were going to play Gerrard off. You know, that system today could have worked perfectly for us. You know, one up there, one in the hole, in behind. You know, they'd have had the same problems making contact with us as we had with them. Either that or you play three in there and just get one around their little guy who plays off the front and push it onto their two midfield players. It's, you know, we were stretched playing the system we played, I felt, today, and it was difficult. But as I say, full credit to them, they really were good. There was no lack of effort from our players. They gave everything, but I just felt, apart from probably a 20-minute spell, they were much, much better.
Harry, one last question, $1 million question, I suppose, in some ways. We've tried a couple of foreign coaches. Is it time to try an Englishman?
No, I think that, you know, this guy is good. He's got a great record, Gary, and I just, you know, I think we've got to look at the whole thing. But I've got confidence in him. I think his record tells you that. I don't think it's time to chop and change. But I think we've got to have a little look how we do play, and I think the boy Ozil today in that little hole. We need to produce a player that can play in them positions. We need a midfield player that can run the ball like Schweinsteiger did, and I think we've got to pass the ball better than what we did, and we've got to work on that, and we've got to, I think that's the way to play.
Harry, thank you very much indeed. What do you make of what Harry was saying?
Well, I think he's right. I mean, we said all the way through the tournament and before it that is a way to play. You know, you're coming up against the really good sides, and you can't afford to be overrun in the middle of the park. That's the most important thing. We saw that today. If you play Rooney up top and with Gerrard just off, it certainly gives you more flexibility. We saw in the game against the USA, the ball was going too far.
Joe Cole or Gerrard are the type of players that can play in that little gap. That
Gary, we're not sat here saying, in hindsight, you should have done that. Yeah. We've said it all along. We've said we got away with it against Algeria. We got away with it against the USA. Now, if that didn't tell the story, then there's a huge problem there. We've all been saying all along, the further you go in the competition, the better you get outnumbered in midfield, and you have to keep the ball and pass it. And we got outnumbered in there. There's too many bodies in there. We couldn't control it.
I would say one thing. It didn't matter about the system today. They played so badly. It wouldn't matter what system
You've got
they
to
played.
defend, probably. Painful as it is, let's see the other two goals. England were mullered with the last two goals.
This is the only mistake of his game. There's Barry on the edge of the box, and he just gets sucked in. He shouldn't be involved in the free kick.
Look where the three of them have come from.
Yeah, but what you do is, like, when you're setting up, you set up with somebody in the halfway.
To go there, and
it's
massively
25 to go. Yeah,
I mean, that is amateurish.
Well, it's amateur. You're right.
You're absolutely right. If we can understand defending like that, going for broke, if you like, when we've got 2 minutes left and we have to get a goal. But it's 2-1. Then we're still in the game.
Whole season, they've done it all in one game. 4 really bad goals.
It's like the first half. If you think that one was bad, wait until you see the next one. I mean, it's just beyond belief.
We were looking for such
stunned.
a positive response coming back after the break because we felt we were lucky to get into it, but it never ever came, did it? Never come in the second.
I suppose at 3-1 you can.
That's the sign of a good player, by the way. Not getting in there, not panicking, doing the right thing, way to pass, right decision.
He is a good player, all right.
Talk about him playing in that position. I don't honestly think... I think Gerrard, we want him to play in that sort of hole, but I don't think we've got a player like Ozil. I think he's something we haven't got.
Well, the reprisals will go on and on. Where does this leave? Well, England obviously out of the World Cup, but in the face of the map of football, we're pretty...
Well, I think it puts a manager under real pressure for the simple reason that they came to the World Cup with tremendous optimism and hope. And you look at the 4 performances of the England side, and you know, you talk about Slovenia being all right, but you know, you were playing against Slovenia and it was average. So I think he's under real pressure.
And the England players, Alan? I mean, these big stars that we see week in, week out performing.
Well, ultimately,
well
we always say it comes from the manager first, and the manager takes the rap if it goes wrong. But the players have to look at themselves as well, because none of them in the tournament really have performed anywhere near the level we see week in, week out on a Saturday, for whatever reason. Now, that has to come from the manager, but the players can't escape punishment either.
Well, we were hoping today that it would go to the next level on performance-wise, but it actually went backwards again. We were probably worse today than we were against Algeria, so I think the players take a huge amount of responsibility, but the manager now, as Alan said, under big pressure, because we've got nowhere. We haven't even got into the quarter-finals.
Should he go?
Well, I think he will go, yeah.
I think he'll go as well, yeah.
Do you think he should go? I mean,
I think because ultimately they were that bad, not just in this game, but in the whole tournament. As I say, he's under tremendous pressure and he probably will go.
OK. Gents, thanks very much indeed. I just need a bit of Maradona and Messi to cheer me up. That's coming next. But that is it for England at this World Cup. We'll always remember the Uruguayan linesman, but England really have no defence, literally. Goodbye.
No second chances now.
I want it now, I want it now. Don't tell me that my ship is coming in. Nothing comes to those who wait.
Oh dear, oh dear.
Time's running out the door, you're running in.
Jermaine Defoe
So
scores!
I want more.
England's hopes are